Anand, thank you very much. Now, first it was the world's cheapest car. Now the world's cheapest tablet computer has been unveiled in India. It's known as Akash, which in Hindi means sky, and it costs only $45. Okay, that's if you're a student, but even if you aren't, the price tag will still only be around $60. Prerna Suri reports now from New Delhi.
It's slick, it's shiny, and costs $45. Say hello to the world's cheapest computer tablet. And it's made in India.
Today, we see the beginning of a dream realized. A dream in which every student in every corner of this country will have access to technology.
Called Akash or the Sky, the tablet has taken over 4 years to develop and is targeted mostly at students. In a country where laptops range from anywhere between $400 to $1,000 and where the average income is much lower, the hope is that more people, particularly the country's youth, will have greater access to technology. Like these students. They've never used a laptop before, and for them it's a whole new experience.
डिवाइस इसमें सब कुछ है इंटरनेट है हम इजीली इसको यूज कर सकते हैं.
It's a great device. We can use it anywhere, anytime, and it isn't really big like a PC, so we can carry it around wherever we want.
The Akash looks and feels like any other computer tablet. It runs on an Android 2.2 operating system. You can also visit the internet if there's a Wi-Fi portal around, and it runs on about 140 hours of battery power. In the next few months, over 100,000 such computers will be available in select universities. And if it's successful, India may even sell it commercially. But experts say the design still has a long way to go.
So the next challenge would be how to make it better. What we see right now is a resistive display, a slow processor, a sort of low memory in terms of RAM, right? So that might have an impact on the usability of this tablet.
But for now, at least, these students are happy. And for them, the sky is at their fingertips. Prerna Suri, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
Well, let's take a quick look now at some other of India's cheap innovations. The nano car, remember that? That was launched in 2009, and at $2,040, it became the world's cheapest car. Water purifiers are available for around $15. Now, this is important as many life-threatening diseases are waterborne. And open heart surgery costs on average $2,000, and that's down to doctors driving up the number of patients they operate on. Well, with us for more on this is Alpesh-Patel. He's the CEO of Prefinium, an organization that invests in India. Thank you very much for joining us. So we saw there a list of some of the innovations that have come from India, all meant to be more accessible to the market. So let's focus on this new tablet. Do you think it will bridge the divide? Do you think it will bring technology to people that otherwise wouldn't have been able to afford it?
Well, obviously this kind of innovation is a step in the right direction. That's quite clear. But I think what we're forgetting is it does require innovation, as you mentioned, to get those costs down, to get accessibility. But this is just one way in which Indian innovation, we're used to thinking of the West as the innovators, but it's actually Indian innovation which is getting to these markets. The good news with this is it's an East-West collaboration. It's a British company which is providing this to India. But also what you're going to see increasingly going forward is not just cheaper and cheaper products, but innovation which allows existing products, existing PCs, receiving software, which allows people in villages and in remote areas to access computer services. And why is computer services important? Not just because it allows people to play games, but because it allows medical services, allows them to connect to the government and social services. So this is one part of a far bigger innovation story between East and West collaboration.
Explain that to us in detail again. So you're saying that basically people would keep the same hardware but change the software.
Exactly.
Would that be cheaper though?
Exactly. I've seen Indian companies, visited one last week, which what they're trying to do is you keep the existing computers that you have in hospitals, that you have in schools, because they're incredibly expensive to replace. And also they add to the carbon footprint. I mean, we've got to remember all this stuff not only costs money, but it also creates a lot of waste. So what if we could use the existing hardware, but just pipe through the software, which automatically gets updated, so you don't need software engineers, you don't need to keep on changing the hardware every now and again. It doesn't break down because the software is remotely updated and upgraded, which allows elderly people in particular to connect to government social services, allows children in schools to access it a lot more cheaply. When we've got budget deficits the level we have, those are important things.
But how is this tablet a step in that direction?
Well, the reason this is an important part of the broader innovation story which is going on is, of course, it allows greater accessibility. But we really do need to get to the next step beyond this, where we're not constantly creating more and more new hardware with silicon, with carbon in it, because at the end of the day, all of this is going to be dumped at some point. It's all going to end up in a scrap heap, probably somewhere in Africa, unfortunately. So we need to look at how we can utilize our existing resources. So yes, this is a step in the right direction, but actually the innovation story has got a lot further than this, and the innovation has come from countries like India.
Just on a final point, do you think that this will work for the students it's aimed at?
Well, quite clearly, it's going to have a big uptake for those who can't afford the massive costs that an iPad and so on has. And it does allow, obviously, better educational services because you're able to download books and so on. So I think it is going to work. It's a good story, and it's a good story for a British company to have got this deal with India.
Globalization at work. Alpesh-Patel, CEO of Prefinium, thank you so much for joining us. Still lots more to come in this London News Hour, including all the sport. Last ball drama for Bangalore in the Champions League 2020.